The preview show for the last day of the AJC, the Australian Jockey Club Carnival at Royal Randwick. Matt, hello, Mark. Again, we don't mind rain, we don't mind dry, we don't mind whatever, but we want to know. We want to know.
Glenn rang me last night and I'm saying, oh, the track will be good, and he's going, oh, not heavy? It is entirely possible.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. So 1.8 mils of rain this morning, and possibly no more. It's hard to read the weather. Possibly no more, and yet if we do get more, it clearly makes a big difference. So,
well, we had, for those watching this not in Sydney, we had an absolute cracking day. I think the warmest, warmest day in April for 5 years. Is that about right? Whatever it was, got to
sweating up.
Had
to head for the hairdresser.
Hairdresser.
So got to 30 degrees, great drying day. But then we had that quick mill or two of rain late, which probably did it, and now we're
in sort of murk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
okay.
Give us a definitive answer, please, Mark.
Oh well, I can't.
Can it be good?
It could be good. I mean, Warwick Farm was good on Wednesday.
Lovely. Okay, I think the big play is the forecast that now. I think everybody now watching the Punters show has not only got 47 different billion theories, but now everybody is a weather zone nut or whatever.
Yeah, interestingly, the weather zone, they do have stuff independent of BOM.
Yeah. Okay.
And BOM have sort of underestimated, I think, the effect of the weather at the tail end of this week, whereas Weather Zone are a bit more.
I mean, basically, we've got a rain coming. The forecast was originally in the week was for early Saturday. That seems to just be getting pushed back. The rain will come sometime between now and Sunday. It's just will it come on race day or not?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think the world's going to end next week.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right, lovely. All right,
so stay tuned.
In saying all that,
next Friday we'll have a lot better idea.
All right, lovely. So in saying,
excuse me.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No, we don't need to stop. We keep going on delivery. There it is. Sweet. So in saying all that, so we dead 4, or whatever a 4 is these days.
Yeah, it's on the drier side of wet, whatever that makes, whatever that says,
Beautiful.
If you assume that the lead-in meeting, the Monday, the Derby day, was on the wetter side of wet, this is on the drier side of wet.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Cool.
Well, I mean, look, the real key is the 8 metre rail, which can mean hard fence. It can also mean some of the fields are large enough, and you'll get some blouses possibly striking those golden lanes.
Way down the outside, you've probably got to be. The problem with assessing those outside lanes is we don't get enough samples to actually be able to nail it. So I think it's probably about from 8 metres off that fence, which is only 8 horses, obviously. So yeah, the bigger the fields, it's not too hard to get there, is it?
Plenty of mosquitoes in the air, whatever that means.
All right, lovely. Okay, before we get in the first, Matt, we had a big go with PBL last week. ProBetter Live, that is. ProBetter.com is probetter.com.au is the best way to get onto it. And yeah, it's into the second week, and I think people are on it got a pretty good experience. We're a bit unlucky with the set in Sydney, but that's cool. That's fine. We'll break that. But all the information that was coming through, all the staff, all the people's ability to ask questions about certain things. It was a really fun afternoon, I think, for a lot of people. And
yeah, it's good to get a
touchy
stack of people in there. Yeah, we had a stack of people in there, and probably looks like it's doubled again. So great information. As we say, whether you're doing your own form or whether you get our sets, you can make use of it, and it's $69 for this week.
You have to get it tomorrow because dead set. How the track plays tomorrow is everything.
Yep.
And it is so, it is quite possible that we've got a third carnival meeting situation where they do get uber wide, but at the same time, the flat read says up the inside. So I mean, it's quite head wrecking, and I think you actually need to be part of the cognoscenti tomorrow.
I think so. One of the great things I think from this and that you brought to the world out there is not waiting to see what the track's going to play like, actually going out there and making the forecast of possible things. And I think, as you saw from our setup, we we'd normally be able to say this is what it's going to do from the stuff that you've brought to us. But now it's like, this would be the least confident you've gone into a Saturday meeting with how the track's going to play, wouldn't it? And especially when it's round week 8 metre rail, which is almost like, bang,
well,
this is it.
The stamp, but,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, last year it was 9 metres, and I think that assisted the play later in the day when Harness Gold made the...
Just that one extra metre, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. But anyway, so Pro Bet Alive, we'll be updating the betting plans throughout the afternoon, and as Mark said, I think that's going to be the key play to it, and of course if the rain does come a little bit earlier as well too. So we've got that, so you get your Melbourne set, you get your Sydney set, and Melbourne's only 10 races of about 1,001 horses, so it's a pretty thick card down there.
Darren,
Yes, and again updating it throughout, mounting yard alerts, betting alerts, who's backing what they actually mean. I think that's an important thing too from the betting alerts. Like we see horses drifted, they drift because they've just drifted, but then there's other ones you're looking at it going, no, this is poison.
Yep.
So they're all the things that we're trying to bring you, and much more for $69. It's a good way to spend an afternoon, and especially if you're betting at home and you're on your own and you're relying on other things.
Exactly
It's a great way to join a real core hard punting group.
Yeah, hardcore maybe.
Yeah. Bingo. Race 1 is the 1200 metres benchmark 85 sprint, and we see Private Secretary dominate, $2.50. The others under double figures, Double and Lass and Mojave.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
So yeah, Private Secretary 280 into 240. And look, basically has dominated the market there. And the interesting thing, the trainer came out at the start of the week saying he prefers his horse fresh, and he was just going to throw in a nom for Saturday. With most likely he was going to wait till a race next week or Brisbane or something like that. Okay. So that changes everything. But at the moment it's in and looks well placed and it's been well backed, so maybe they'll go with it.
Okay, Mark.
I think he's probably right. I mean, he would prefer to have it fresh.
Yeah.
And that's that's a complicating factor. And she'll be last on the inside.
Yeah, that's another complicating factor, isn't it?
But I mean, she's devastating at the moment. So I had Mojave leading Road to Summer, Gay's wheelchair pair of King Cobia and the gilded Aussies Love Sport handy. Open book.
That's now with Dickie.
Who's that?
Aussies Love Sport. No, Dickie.
Is that why? I didn't
get it, didn't you? Dickie at Randwick.
I saw Randwick and didn't twig. There's another important stable change later that Peter, Paul and Mary are involved in. But yes, Aussie Love Sport's been gelded.
Well, if you wanted to just put on the wheelchair, let's just go through.
Open book, I expect to be a player tomorrow, like forward first up and then restrained back the other day and ran into trouble in the Private Secretary race. So open book on speed, Grand Punto midfield, Dublin Lass Rails midfield, Mademoiselle La Pieta going backwards, Boss Lane rolling forwards, but he's also in the chair a bit. So Private Secretary, as I mentioned, Rails back, Backman back and Field Marshal back, and they're potential players should the lane be in operation out wide. Particularly, I think Backman would be the dangerous horse if that were to come to fruition. So, I mean, obviously, Private Secretary seems a good place to start here.
Maybe that's a good place to start. Your sheep.
Yeah, I think Mozzie's.
But very strong call from Matt. Mozzie's winning. Yeah, we're going here.
6 Private Secretaries, beat 10 Open Book, who tomorrow's D-Day for Open Book, third up, and perhaps getting a start on the favourite. 11 Mojave has been gelded, and certainly he ran some short SPs at the end of last campaign. He's actually a pretty average 3-year-old, but he's well connected, and 8 Dublin Lass, who generally takes some time to find her feet.
Exactly
she's also that one that 1200. It's not ideal really because she likes to be cuddled.
Yep.
So this is going to be earnest. And so whilst she'll be smoking back on the inside, there's a couple of things for her, a couple of things against her. 6, 10, 11, 8. I'm having 4 units on number 6 and 1.5 units on number 10. And as I said, the deadly horse out wide, were that to be the case, would be number 9.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, I think you said it all, Mark. I'm with Private Secretary. I think the point that we make in the race speed profiles is that if it was a race just on pure numbers, she wins. You know, but all the problems you said, and yeah, not a good way to start the day on a good day, isn't it? Set yourself up for a horse that's going to be back on the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, 7 units private secretary.
Yeah. I don't know whether he's going to be in the race, so I'm going to have 2 units each way on open book for the same reasons. Look, the form is there going back, and I think 1100 is a different world to 1200, and he gets that this time. And but it's just this is his chance, as he said. It's his last chance. And, I think Warren, one of Glenn's mates, Warren Goodson or something. He's on Twitter. He's a part owner.
Yeah.
Little push.
Is Warren in that? Is he?
A small time.
Warren from Warren.
Yeah. He said the horse goes better when the cobalt's in. He's realised, but he'll run a cheeky race, and I said to him, it's hard to disagree. Yeah, she looks good, this private secretary though.
Yeah, she does.
But the market could just split on Saturday morning.
But I mean, it is. Price, Mark. What's the expectations? You think it'd be about
7-4.
7-4. Yeah, it's hard to see get much from the problems we spoke about. You can't really get much shorter, can it? Or could it?
I don't think so. I mean, there's going to be schools of thought. I mean, any runner like this will have some stern opposition from certain quarters.
Yes. Yes. Rob. Yes.
I can tell you that he did actually mark open book favourite ahead of her last start.
Yeah, and I would have thought that's more problematical for her on Saturday than it was last time.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, perfect. All right, good work. Race 2 is the Johnny Walker Frank Packer Plate over 2,000 metres. Marion and High World battle for favouritism at the moment, $3.73.30, $5.25 Farolitos, and that was with Tatsbet sticking their head up about.
What's that? 19-4. No, 17-4.
Speaking, yeah, a price that RW would come up with and think himself pretty clever.
He says a 5.5 to 2.
It's all about the percentages, Mark. Matt, what have they done?
Yeah. $6 was Farolitos, and I saw about $4.40.
Oh, okay. Well, because the $4.80 is the general price. It's just Tats better than singing the heads up above.
$4 into $3.30 High World, and $8 into $6 Wine Tails.
Yep.
That was with the tab. So, bit of I suppose fair to say High World is sort of been a little bit singled out as the one they like the most early.
And does High World and Farolitos just share it amongst themselves again at the front, Mark?
Yeah, I think that Farolitos takes it up here. High World, he actually didn't want to lead, but he just sort of found himself in the lead there the other day.
That was a train.
Good sounding train.
Great sounding train. Bring back steam trains.
Yes. High World, blinkers off, going up to 2,000. I reckon they don't want to lead.
Yep.
Which gives it up to Farolitos and gives him some edge here. Marion will obviously be handy, and High World will be handy. And then you've got the sort of another owl who pokes up along the inside to third the fence. Stradalina High Midnight wide out midfield. Not sure what they'll do. Gouldy and Miss Interior's mid back. Blademeister and Wine Tails, I think, ridden quietly tomorrow. It's an interesting race. I'm not entirely comfortable with 2 High World on top. It's just that he's won his last 2, and I couldn't work out how to get Farolitos in front of him, and I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from Marion last time. But exactly. Given that I was so keen on him, I feel a bit churlish about it. But anyway, 2 High World, 3 Farolitos. They look to fight it out again. 1 Marion and 8 Wine Tails, who had clearly had excuses. We've spoke about her at length. The fact that she, didn't have the right preparation at the 2000, and then had Joey on and wrong lane and yada 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 yada. So she interests here, and Gouldian, who was set a ridiculous task on a number of occasions, going into the Derby off the mile run.
Yes.
And then the other day just posted in the car park, gets Jay McDonald. And looks an improver. 2-3-1-8. I'm having 4 units number 2 and 2 units number 3.
Yeah.
Have you worked out the jockey why James is on this horse and not the other?
Not Farolitos, no.
I couldn't work that out.
Nothing to do with weight or
You
anything
need
like
to
that.
get onto Twitter. They answer
Wow.
all, you know.
That's true.
B. Shinley answers any question that you pose to him.
Yes, that did interest me, but look, I thought Farolitos probably, I like it that has a little bit more upside. I think at the 2000.
Any blood?
No, I don't know. I had him covered.
I think High World, the blinkers are coming off. It was a little bit keen, so it's not a natural 2,000 metre horse. Whereas I think Farolitos can relax, and but I don't think
the
there's
seasoning. The 3 runs at the mile.
Yeah, I don't think this is not going to be a good race.
No.
And I'll just have 2 units on Farolitos
No,
to have a bet.
And I'm in agreement of not being a good race and letting it go. You know, I think on my form and all that sort of stuff that I did, I had Marion on top, but that's just more. That's more on numbers.
Was there some problem with S. Arnold in that race? He looked like he couldn't really move on the horse. I mean,
he might have stroked.
I'm thinking, because for the last 20 years we've heard about the great Stevie Arnold.
Yeah.
And he turns up here at Rose Hill a few weeks ago and he didn't seem to be able to do anything on the horse. And I'm thinking, he had 56 kilos. I assume he struggles to ride at 59.
Well, because
right?
he hasn't been doing a lot of riding yet. So I'd imagine, he probably would be.
So he's just out of condition to ride it.
Could possibly be.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, I think these horses that always figure themselves in races and then always come up with 3, 4, 6, 3. They sort of say to me that they like running 3, 4, 6, 3.
Yeah. He had a perfect run the other day, and the other 2 just went zot.
And the win that he did have was by a very small margin and all that. So all the things I do, I've got Marion on top. Apart from the little thing that racing is about winning, and I don't know if he likes doing that. So bye bye to that race for me.
Very good, Dal.
Race speed profiles winning last week for both venues, Flemington and whatever, and just
very good.
Poking along nicely, but you don't like bemoaning luck because you've got to create it yourself. But it's
a good push.
Yeah.
There's a good push for I think Amanpour.
Amanpour, yeah.
I actually found out she's a CNN. She's on CNN, isn't she?
Yes, TV show. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the name.
Yep.
Amanpour.
Amanpour. Is that how it's pronounced?
Is that her surname?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Is that her surname?
I think so.
Okay.
Right. Chrissy Amanpour.
Okay. Yep.
So you guys did really well, and I think you nailed most races.
I
thought it had a good day.
Yeah, it did. It's just from my point of view, the ones that we're zoning in and saying that's it. The other ones are winning. So I mean, you're still having a winning set, but for us to say we've knocked it out of the park, I want those ones to win.
High expectations.
Yes, exactly right. So hopefully that goes the other way on Saturday. But as you said, it was all across the board, seeing them all, both in Sydney and Melbourne, both winning sets there. So huge day at Caulfield, huge day in Sydney. So jump on board the race speed profiles. We'll be doing at the end of the day. You get a very good description of how things can and why and would happen anyway. Race 3 is the JHB Car Stakes, 1400 metres. It is for the fillies. Peeping 380. Matt Allige is $6, Supara $7.50, Nancy $9. What's happened, Matt?
460 was given Peeping into about 380 now. $14 into $9 press report, just with the one agency. And look, I'd just say Peeping has steadied off at the 380 mark now.
And was an early price a lot for PBL?
It was 420.
420, yep.
There's not much doing here.
No,
we had a steady. What is that race called? The PJ Bell or something?
Yep.
2 weeks ago, it was a steady race, and this promises to be steady as well. I've got Peeping in the van, and the question mark is over the gay runners. Does Nayeli press forward tomorrow? Does Supara press forward back from a mile? Pittsburgh Flyer and Press Reporter handy. Anyaz back on the inside. Matillia is somewhere thereabouts. I thought she had a dream run the other day. And then we're into the back markers. Swift Lady Sabrina, Slightly Sweet, Nancy and Tiny Dancer, and I think that if the lane is in operation out wide, that Nancy would be the horse to be looking for.
The fly home. I suppose the Nayeli question, I suppose, comes down to how the betting works tomorrow. Like if it's told the story,
it's not D. Oliver, is it? It's
B. Shin on. Yeah, exactly.
Can we say wet track, dry track with her?
Yeah, absolutely, quite possibly.
Well, that's what the stable want to say.
Yeah.
You know, but she Look, her wheels were spinning a long way out there the other day, but she was...
Her wheels were spinning 25 minutes before the race when she went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. But she drew inside. I mean, it was like it was a day you wanted to draw wide all day. So it's not unreasonable for the layers just to get involved there and go, I'm going to lay all these inside barriers.
Yep, cool. Anyway, all right, lovely. So what are we saying?
3 peeping on top. She's just there and makes her own luck. Actually, sorry, I've got 5 press report on top because she raced in a very hot race there a fortnight ago, and we'll have a little bit of spring in a step off that race, perhaps. 5 press report, 3 peeping, 4 Pittsburgh Flyer, and 10 Nancy. 2 units peeping and 1 unit on press report.
Lovely, and it's just peepings that sort of all substance, no style. Style, no substance.
Yeah,
really,
but she
keeps doing it.
She's there. She's there. I mean, you know, what she had 4 runs back from a spell.
Yeah, she just puts it.
They're just all there,
and she just does the same thing week in, week out, and often that's good enough to win. There's 1400 for her.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
depends
natural.
on how. It depends on how well she controls the speed. She is a sit and sprint horse.
Yeah.
She's like a.
Yeah.
She's not like a leader.
No.
Going up to 1400.
Exactly.
Even though she will lead the race.
Matt, what do you have to say?
I think Connections they're gonna want to ride peeping as quiet as possible, but she's a natural runner.
Yeah.
Like to get the 1400. So I can see maybe like a Matilda, another interpretation of the
I think that's it.
pronunciation.
No, I've been calling it that, but I realise that I might need to get my eyes looked at because I realise there's an I in between it, and I've only been calling it for a month. I only realised that this morning. Madalesia.
Anyway,
I've been ignoring the I.
So from the
Darren Flindell called it Matilia, I think.
Okay. Oh, did he? Okay.
Look, from the lead-up race, I thought 5 weeks between runs. I thought she was in a bit of an awkward spot actually, between horses around her and stuff like that. And I think she's the improver of that race. So I'm gonna have, I'll have 4 units on her. I'm gonna have 2 on Nancy, who's progressing quite well. And I just don't like the form of all these horses at the top. So if any horse is going to be a blouser,
that's what you tend to get in these at the back end of the carnival. Is
I'm seeing
the beaten up brigade.
Tani Dancer sort of working to the line, and Matilda working to the line. It's not inspiring stuff. So you could get one of these horses down the bottom. So I think Nancy could be that one who's been ridden pretty badly by Tommy, but way out wide. Who knows? 2 units there.
Lovely, cool. What are we going with Matilda? Whatever it is. The thing in the blue colours that isn't trained by John O'Shea. I agree with you. I thought it's better set up this with a couple of weeks between runs rather than the 30 odd days, whatever it was. And probably out of her and peeping looks the one metre suited at 1400 metres. But
how many good Godolphin horses have the Freedman's got? And I noticed that Lee has ducked back to be
a horse trainer.
Yes.
I don't know.
I haven't.
Answer your question. I don't know. Anyway, but I'm 3 units each way on that.
Very good.
Mark, what's happening with you?
Oh, lots, Dal.
You've had a
lots.
busy
Yes,
week.
Had a busy week. Gosford saw that quite well. It was an inside day.
Yes, a lot of people were tweeting about that all day. Yeah.
Yes, and Warwick Farm Wednesday. Hawkesbury was okay yesterday. We're into Kembla tomorrow, which will be a bit damp because they got a bit more rain this morning. So a good program at Kembla tomorrow after they're missing their meeting 2 weeks ago. And Wyong Sunday. Dum-da-da.
There it is.
Da-da-da-da. So jump on board. Yes, lovely.
Wyong on a Sunday, why not? Well, actually, that goes well.
Wow,
We'll
great betting.
We'll segue into another thing. So that makes Sunday a big day. You've got Wyong, you've got Hong Kong, and you've got Tassie. So there it is.
There you go. What a trio.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. So jump on board. Hong Kong, Mark. And Tasmania is an afternoon meeting. Hong Kong kicking off now a little bit early with Daylight Saving, I think, isn't it? I think that's So it's
because they're only 2 hours behind now.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a punting feast for Sunday afternoon if that's the way you want to handle things. Why not?
Mecca.
Make a day of it.
No other way, is there?
Lovely. All right. Well, you could pop the Moet and Shandon after the Champagne Stakes. And the funny thing out of this meeting is one of these horses is going to be crowned a Group 1 winner at the end of the day. It's the Odyssey Moon, $3.90, Pasadena Girl, $3, and Takedown and Tarquin at $6.
Yes, so the favouritism has been swapped since Wednesday, which Odyssey Moon.
We're not favourites.
Odyssey Moon, yeah.
Why?
Oh, Pasadena Girl went up for, what was it? $4?
Well,
20, 450?
$3.50. I saw, I think, at the tab. So that's a pretty good one. I think $4 out wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 280 Odyssey Moon out to 350, and now we've got 350 into 290 Pasadena Girl.
Cheeky buggers. Right. Well, it looks. You've got Karen in the on the leader from the widest gate, which is handy. The barrister should be left behind tomorrow. Surely, takedown and a street wrapper along the inside. The barrister will have to. Well, it won't be easy to take a trail. It'll be made to take a trail. Odyssey Moon looks in a fairly good position. Tarquin astern of him. Reckless Russell along the inside, and I don't know whether Huey plans to be closer on the favourite. She certainly wasn't. She wasn't anywhere near them in the sires.
Out of play.
But I imagine that he will be handier. And mine too. She doesn't have to be ridden quite so cold as she's been ridden.
Absolutely.
She's up from 1200. Road Assassin going back. Interesting race. I did quite like this race. I have 2 Odyssey Moon on top, but I thought he had a couple of favours there a fortnight ago. But then again, he's
there, isn't he?
He's there. 8 Pasadena Girl gets Huey. Had a bash now. They're both. Well, I suppose Odyssey Moon's technically still in his first preparation. She definitely is.
Yeah.
3 takedown has done everything right. Nothing wrong with his win in the value, except that the value doesn't not normally good enough, but could be here.
Yeah, exactly.
And 5 Street Rapper, who couldn't get takedown, but may get a very favourable run here. 2835, 2 units Odyssey, 1 unit takedown, 1 unit Street Rapper, 1.5 units on Pasadena Girl.
It's an interesting point you sort of touched on there too, Mark. It's not. I think the 2 keys is 1, obviously the distance, but 2, the fact that a lot of these horses are just hanging on by, like their 4th and 5th runs first preps, and Odyssey Moon has had a lot of, you said, it's sort of first prepish. Not only are they not a collection of superstars, but it's also a collection of horses that are right on the tether. And for that reason, horse you mentioned there, and also based on the 1600 metres ability, I think mine too isn't a silly price.
It's not a good man. It's a silly price.
It's a silly price, yeah. I think, okay, mine, getting your head around mine too in a Group 1 race is a pretty difficult thing, but, whatever, it doesn't really matter. 4th up, Randwick Mile, 2nd prep. I think that's a big tick in this race. And from the stuff that we look at, it's the one that sort of has numbers to suggest that 1600 metres is probably best for it in the race. $20 available, isn't there? Something like that.
And
so,
Group 1 Glen.
Group 1 Glen, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's fantastic. 2 units each way, mine too, and agree with the rest. Pasadena Girl's probably the one who's got the most brilliance in the race, but it's been more 400 metre sprint than 800 metres, and that still has some question mark at 1600 metres.
Yeah.
But so a slow run race I think would be good for her.
Yeah, I went back and watched her entire run with Vlad Jurek on it. It was the most stop-starty sort of ride.
Yeah.
It was all, for the horse, you have to go back and watch it. It was on and on heels and on and on heels and then around and then stops and then around. So, look, I think Hugh's wasted for this ride particularly. It's probably worth a bit for him and the family. So, but I think progressing well for 1600, and Savabils generally want a bit longer. So, 8 units Pasadena Girl. I'll have 1 on mine too. I'll have 4 on Odyssey Moon, and I'll be having 4 on Takedown.
Wow. Okay, there you
go. Yeah, look at just that from the card itself. I sort of found it a bit challenging, but I like the sort of lightly raced horses. I think we can limit it there.
And get some sort of result.
Something small maybe.
Lovely, cool. All right, yeah, lovely. I mean, her win, especially her second up win at Flemington, she was not entitled. Two-year-olds normally don't do that. So she's got a very serious weapon with that 400 metre sprint. Anyway, that is part 1 of the preview show.